title is Love Song Cloud. Okay,
Uh, uh,
okay.
okay.
My presentation title is Love Song Cloud. Okay. This research is supported by adaptable and seamless technology transfer program through target-driven R&D. This abbreviation name A-STEP from Japanese Science and Technology Agency. Grant number is here. Thank you. This is self introduction myself. Twitter, GitHub, and Gmail is Zaki1972. I'm an associate professor and the leader of the Natch Social Implementation Research Center at the University of Kitakyushu. I'm co-author of Pyramid Series, co-organizer of ElixirConf JP, founder of Thousand Brains, and to be an author of Zim. I'd like to be to Kenya. Kenya is a country that I'd like to visit in real. Of course, because of amazing nature, but also because of persons that have a hot soul, including Tracy, who is an organizer of ElixirKenya and ElixirConf Africa. Oh, oops. Congratulations on holding ElixirConf Africa. And thank you for giving an opportunity to me, Tracy. So I also submit another my talk to ElixirConf Africa. I'll also propose my webinar series on ElixirKenya. Prologue. Greta Thunberg speech at the UN Climate Action Summary, YouTube. See the movie and transcription at here. You can get by Googling 2019 UN Climate Action Summit, Greta Thunberg. I know she has been received too many criticism due to her bitter and emotional speeches. However, we should focus on the evidence of global warming, which are expressed on the concrete numerical data. To have a 67% chance of staying below 1.5 degrees global temperature rise. The best odd given by the the Interglobal Panel of Climate Change. The world had 420 gigatons of CO2 left to emit back on January 1st, 2018. Today, that figure is already down to less than 350 gigatons. How dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual and some technical solutions with today emissions levels that remain the CO2 budget will be entirely gone within less than 8.5 years. Sea level rise by global warming. As the temperature and seawater temperature rise, glacier such as Antarctica and Greenland melts down, melt and the sea level rise. As a result, low altitude lands are submerged, especially in island nations. According to IPCC 15 assessment report, 19 centimeter sea levels rises between 1901 to 2010 for about 10 years. Sea level rises up to 18.2 centimeter during the 21st century. Enormous impact on the ecosystem due to a loss of sandy beach, which nurture various creatures. Carbon oxide concentration. 3 to 5 million years ago, carbon dioxide concentration is about 400 ppm, 2 to 3 degrees higher than now. 10 to 20 meter sea level rises. According to United Nations Climate Action Summit in New York, 2019, carbon oxide concentration is 407.8 ppm in 2018. 2.2 ppm higher than 2017. Carbon dioxide concentration expected to exceed 410 ppm in 2019. Why is the temperature and water level not rising unexpected? Even though the carbon dioxide concentration is at the same level as 3 to 5 million years ago. Because the Earth becomes cold, or because just not in equilibriums, in this paper, the ocean absorbs as much as 90% of the heat generated by global warming. The amount of heat stored in the ocean has reached 228 zetajoules in 2019. This paper shows it equals approximately the amount of heat enough to explode 5 Hiroshima type atomic bomb per second in the sea without a break in a year. Therefore, if this carbon dioxide concentration is maintained for many years, the heat absorption of the ocean will be saturated, and the temperature and the sea level may rise to the same level as 3 to 5 million years ago in the final equilibrium state. Ocean heat and climate change. Climate change, which is a long-term change. Climate variability, which is a short-time fluctuation. Due to the amount of heat stored in the ocean due to global warming, the amount of water vapor increases and the ocean current changes, causing major change in the climate. The things of increase is here, and the things of decrease is here. Example, sea surface temperature in the equality Pacific Ocean. If high, El Nino phenomenon. If low, La Nina phenomenon. Abnormal weather causes many natural disasters, resulting in the huge losses. The maximum and minimum temperature in the summer are rising year by year. According to the Japan Meteorological Agency National Ranking, 23 of the top 24 highest temperature records have been ranked since 1990, 20 since 2000, and 17 since 2010. All of the top 27 lowest temperature records have been since 1990, 26 since 2000, and 17 since 2010. The current record of highest summer temperature in Japan is in the 41-degree range, which is dangerous to life. If this will become normal, there is a risk of death if you go out in the summer afternoon. People who maintain infrastructure such as electricity, gas, and the water cannot work outside, which poses a major obstacle to the economy. It may be like working at night during the summer, like in the desert. Worst case of carbon dioxide concentration, temperature, sea level rises. In this paper, there is a prediction that the worst case up to 2100 will be carbon dioxide concentration is 1200 ppm. Temperature rises 8 degrees. Sea level rises 16 meters. Prevalence metagas in the Atlantic ice sea. In this paper, methane gas is trapped in the depths of Antarctic ice. According to IPCC fourth assessment report, the greenhouse effect of methane gas is 25 times that of carbon dioxide. If the progress of global warming releases a large amount of methane gas trapped in the ice sheet of Antarctica, global warming will accelerate rapidly. The worst case projections mentioned above probably do not take into account the potential for massive emission of methane gas in Antarctica. The real worst case can be worse. Recent research on Venus. Today, Venus is a planet with high temperature and high pressure of about 19 atm and 460 degrees. In this paper, simulation research. Venus had been a planet with water like Earth for over 3 billion years. Large-scale volcanic activity 700 million years ago caused a dramatic increase in carbon dioxide. In the ultra long time, rising carbon dioxide levels and the progress of global warming may take it impossible for humans to live on Earth just like Venus. Rising carbon dioxide levels and climate changes could even make the Earth look like Venus. Even if this is not the case, natural disaster caused by climate variability and extreme weather will lead to enormous human and economic losses. Next topic, computers and global warming are by no means unrelated. Here is the computer device power consumption. In this paper, power consumption of computer devices related to communicate technology is 21% of global power supply in the expected average case of 2030. 51% of global electricity supply in the worst case of expected in 2030. Combined with other material, it seems that of 2020, the scenario is the expected scenario shown is the right. Breakdown of power consumption of computer devices. In this paper, above all, electricity consumption of fixed networks and data center will increase. The load on the infrastructure side show. Spread of 5G increases the amount of calculation such as machine learning. Then computers and global warming are by no means related. A small step to the big issue, nerves on cloud. Will show that you can build reasonable supercomputer using it in aspect to price, power consumption, and maintenance of them. Will show only each part, but won't show integration. Integration is essentially important. You can contribute it. Step to nerves on cloud include 3 steps. First, nerves on Jetson. Cloud computer with low power, high performance computer unit. Configure a computer cluster with low power, high performance computer units such as the Jetson AGX Xavier. Spec of Jetson AGX Xavier is 8-core ARM version 8.2 64-bit CPU. 512-core Volta GPU with tensor cores. 7-way Blue Vision processor. Maximum power consumption of only 13 watts. And $699. Only 3 kilowatt and 69,900 even when 100 units. Power consumption of them is about commercial heating and cooling. Very reasonable. News. Nerves works on Jetson Nano. It is ported by NVIDIA and Nerves project. It will work on Jetson AGX Xavier soon. This porting has been conducted by NVIDIA and Nerves project. Thanks. Here is Jetson AGX Xavier in my office, the opening ceremony. It was only 13 watt frame building OpenCV in full power with 8 CPU cores mode on Jetson AGX Xavier. But restriction of Jetson series. Short service life of a unit, only 1 year warranty. You may order the product that has more service life in case large order to NVIDIA. You also adopt the strategy like a car battery of Tesla, in which you can replace each unit that was broken. It requires a monitoring technology of life of each unit, which is an advantage of Nerves. Advantage of adoption of Nerves is here. Nerves makes a system be reproducible enough to ensure scalability and the same behavior when restarted. Nerves enables a system be minimized enough to reduce computer resources and electricity, and Nerves can control I/O that enables power of devices turn on and off. This brings more maintainability and energy efficiency to us. Here is the energy saving strategy of Nerves on cloud. First, frequent power control, such as stopping the clock of unused device modules. This brings an IoT board such as Jetson with build-out Linux of Nerves can provide various power control features. Next, parallel processing that maximizes computer power and prevent computation from stopping with synchronous and mutual exclusion as much as possible. Match core, low clock, and low voltage CPU consumes less power than single core, high clock, and high voltage one. Last, reducing the clock cycle required to achieve the goal. Elixir accelerated by future JIT by OTP 24 with Perme consumes less power than one that ran only on the previous interpreter of RMVM. The step Nerves on cloud. The second is NX, Exira, and Perme FP. NX is a multi-dimensional tensor library for Elixir with JIT and AOT staged compilation to the CPU and GPU. Exira is Elixir client for Google Extra, accelerated linear algebra, which can use GPUs and TPUs. Contrastingly, Perme FP provides first parallel map function similar to the enum module, although computation will be executed in parallel using process spawn. It can be faster than flow, Perme even and even Perme with Perme, Perme FP with Perme. It keeps the order of the element of the list, though flow doesn't. It uses only CPUs. NX and Elixir is suitable for numerical calculation based on linear algebra, which will be applied to machine learning, image processing, and so on. Contrastingly, PermeFP is suitable for executing arbitrary processing in parallel that cannot be applied to linear algebraic expressions. They will bring more computational power to us. They enable us to implement such as useful real-time high-resolution satellite image processing application. The movie at ElixirConf US 2020 is available at here. NX and Elixir can run on Jetson AGX Xavier, and it has amazing performance. Justin said, running Elixir and NX Elixir example means EX on NVIDIA Jetson Xavier AGX. I am amazing at its performance. Performance profile is here. PermeFP also can run on Jetson AGX Xavier, which will uses 80 core and 80 core ARM CPU. The next step, Docker-like isolated user processes. Nerves runs only in the single user mode, while Nerves on-pride should run in the virtualized multi-user mode. Realization of virtualization is here. Isolate each user process with shared directories of the read-only file systems efficiently, and with isolated directories of the read-write file systems, such as temp and data. Restricted resources, such as CPU and memory usage, which are used by each user process. Run an SSH daemon process for each user on each port. Potentially approach to virtualize. First approach, install nerves to each real machine. Second approach, install nerves to each full virtual machine realized by such as VirtualBox. The third approach, install Unix processes and an ARM VM of nerves to each OS level virtual machine realized by such as Docker on the build-rooted Linux of nerves. The fourth approach, launch each daemon processes by Moontrap with churot and setting control groups. The first approach we don't adopt it because installing because though realizable less scalability because it requires real machine more than the number of users, and a real machine can run only for one user. Next, the second approach is unrealizable because it requires an image file to be installed into such as VirtualBox, though it isn't available now due to less performance. The The third approach is candidate, but investigation required. How can nerves be separated into parts of ARM VM and Linux? How much footprints and overheads are required by Docker compared with the approach force? And are there many restrictions on the kernel or the IoT board? So we adopt this proposal. Launch each daemon process by muon trap with churut and setting control groups. We hope it has an advantage of more performance and lower energy. Let's see this approach. This proposal is working in progress. Realize virtualization, isolate each process, user process with shared directories of the read-only file system efficiently and with isolated directory of the read-write file systems such as temp and data. Restrict resources such as CPU and memory usage, which are used by each user process, and run an SSH daemon process for each user on each port. First, I'll explain restrict resources such as CPU and memory usage. Using muon trap, written by Frank, who is a co-author of Nervous. Muon trap is keep programs, daemons, and applications launched from ARM and Elixir contained and well-behaved. It can launch a child Unix daemon process with setting CG group and or to be some user with and without restricting usage of resources such as CPU and memory. CG group is supported for Linux kernels 2.6.24 or later. You can launch a kernel process as follows: system command echo hello. In muon trap, you can also do it using muon trap as follows: muontrap.c command echo hello. You can write the following in application.ex of hello nerves and it brings the results that the application launches long-running command as a daemon processes. You can run the command ls root on the target machine with restricting memory size of each process as follows. Here is 100 kilobytes, and here is 10 kilobytes. The former succeeds because the size is 100 kilobytes, though the latter didn't succeed because the size is 10 kilobytes, which isn't enough to run. I guess CG group base should be set to the control group that had been created, but it can run even the group is set full, which haven't been created as a new control group. Similarly, you can also run a process with restricting the usage of CPU. Next step, here is done. Next step is here. Isolate each user process. how to make isolate file system and share some directories. First step, using rootfs overlay. Second step, using mount bind and using churret. For using rootfs overlay, you can create user proc bin data on the target by make directory of here directories. Mix firmware ban or mix upload, and make directory -p data user proc 1 on the target. Next, you can share bin and user proc 1 bin on the target by command bind with bind option bin user proc 1 bin on the target. Command mount bind with bind option and data user proc 1 data on the target. Let me know how to realize mount to bind by description in target exes. Describe the following in target ex in order to mount thread device here and mount with vfat config nerves ERL init mount current ERL init doesn't support bind flag. Oh my gosh. Next, and using churret. Install churret in advance according to build package configuration in customizing systems in Nervous hex docs. You can churret into user proc 1 after setting share lib 32 at least by command churret user proc 1 on the target. Here is all process a summary of all of processes. Here is done with working in progress. Next, run an SSH daemon process for each user on each port. How to run an SSH daemon for each user. Though work in progress. Using IEX SSH shell written by Jeremy, which is derived from Nerves SSH. I succeeded to add a port 10,022 other than the default one, which can be logged by SSH. Add IEX SSH shell to depth in mix.ex. Describe the following to target EX here config file. But working in progress, we can implement any custom shells according to IEX SSH shell. Then done with, here is done with working in progress. Here is a summary. Remaining issues, investigate how to realize mount with bind option by description in target EX, and implement custom shell that creating different SSH port for each user process according to IEX SSH shell and Nerves SSH. Restriction is here. Even if you only modify any files used by the daemon process for some user, you need to update the entire firmware and restart the unit. Therefore, every time the user application is modified, other user processes are involved and restarted, resulting in downtime. To avoid this, it is necessary to eliminate downtime by multiplexing units of the system and shifting the restart timing by nerves hub for each unit. Currently, it is necessary to allocate a device tag to each unit and update by nerves hub sequentially for each tag in order to realize ad hoc. Here is epilogue. A small step to the big issue, nerves on cloud. We've shown that you can build reasonable supercomputers using it in aspect price, power consumption, and maintenance of them. I believe it will bring various values and more wealth to you. The road to reasonable supercomputers by Nerves on Cloud. Nerves on Jetson, NX, Exira, and Perme FE, and Docker file isolated, Docker-like isolated user processes. We've shown only realizability of each part. Integration is more essentially important. You can contribute it. The last slide. Save the Earth by nerves. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Zaki. We'll take any questions. Anyone with questions? We'll take questions from the audience.
Every question will be welcome.
Yuki, are you trying to speak? You're muted.
Me? I have one question.
Okay.
Yes. I'm very curious about the Jetson, the latest model, and I'm as according to your slide, Jetson, the latest model has, of course, the CPU core. It's very important, and other yes, and that has other component. It's not CPU core. Other things. Do you remember that? Maybe other cores, and I think the currently NX is very important to tensor computing on the GPU cores. But I'm curious about the NX and your product Premate. They should support the other more various processor like FPGA or something. And what do you think of the future plan of this NX and your product? And so, yes, I'm curious about the future's plan to support the other processors.
Okay. Is your question is what is the plan to support any other processor or GPU, FPGA, and so on? Okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. This is, okay. Only NX support CPU because this is written in pure Elixir. NX calls Exira as a subpart. Exira support Google Exira, and this support GPUs and TPUs. So current NX will be able to support CPU, GPUs, and TPUs. It's okay?
Thank you.
Okay. And Pyramid FP, current Pyramid FP support only multi-core CPU. So this cannot support GPU, any GPUs and TPUs. So this is the Pyramid FP because Pyramid FP is written in pure Elixir. In opposite, the prototype of Pyramid, Heisga, can support GPU with OpenCL. So, Pyramid can has a potential to support GPUs, but I didn't support Pyramid didn't support GPUs because because I examine performance testing. The result of performance examination, GPU support is supporting GPU is less performance than multi-core CPUs. So Pyramid doesn't support GPU yet. Okay, it's okay.
Yes, thank you.
And I have a secret plan. Secret plan is Gem. Gem is a new virtual machine compatible to RAM/VM. Gem is supported, will be support NX and Pyramid FP natively. This will be support CPU, GPU, and CPU and GPU. But this is only just secret because the potential of it is unknown for me. So I'm describing a program of Zim. I'm just implementing Zim now. So looking forward to publish of Zim. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And this product needs the the XLA, the accelerated linear algebra. This the what was very common back computational compile backend is very important for supporting so many platforms. And I now understand your the VM is like it's very powerful. It's it's like a JIT compiler similar feature for VM.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm curious about the Jeep, the new virtual machine yeah, attempt. So is that the that new VM try to compile to machine code?
It's just a secret. Sorry.
Okay, okay. And here is the new other question to in the
Okay.
chat.
Okay, thank you. Next, I received a new question by chat. These machines supposes to replace cloud machine server machines in server room, place where our apps are deployed. I believe this Nabs on cloud will replace cloud, not only cloud system, but also on-premise system. Current on-premise system is adopting Intel CPUs or AMD CPUs. So this has a huge energy consumption. So I believe if it adopt RISC CPUs, it will be less energy consumption. My answer is here. It is okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
But are these, can I? Are these machines strong enough? Are these machines strong enough? Because in future, today we have gasoline pumps, petrol pumps. In future, we will have electricity pumps where EV cars will go and plug it and charge the fuels. At those places, will these machines be good?
Is your question this ARM or RISC CPU has enough power to for future data explosion? Is okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. My answer is yes, because you know M1 chip by Apple Computer. Do you know M1? No.
Sorry, I don't.
M1 chip is excuse me. Sorry. M1 chip is here. Small chip, giant leap. M1 is here. This is a new CPU of released by Apple. 5 nanometer process, 60 billion transistors, unified memory, CPU and GPU. Massive CPU performance, 8-core CPUs, 3.5 faster than Intel Core CPU. CPU performance versus power is higher than latest PC laptop chips. 2 times faster CPU performance. CPU performance per watt is 3 times faster, higher. The world's fastest integrated graphics in the personal computer, 8-core GPUs. Here is the summary. I tested M1 chip. I surprised because I have also iMac Pro 2017. iMac Pro. I compared performance iMac Pro and M1 Mac Mini. I surprised because M1 Mac Mini is faster, quite faster than iMac Pro. It's very amazing. So this M1 chip is ARM-based chip. So I believe I believe ARM chip will be replaced Intel and AMD chips. It's my answer. It's okay.
Yes, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And let me add some comment about this friend. And
Okay.
yes, as you can see, this latest new generation chips is they are so very good at watt performance. So this the Atom ARM-based new processors, and Amazon also develops their own new processors.
Exactly.
Yes, they are also ARM-based chip, and there is the other type of processor. It's a RISC-V processor. It's yes, it's very important things. This is open source new chip ISA. ISA is the type is instruction set, and yes, this is RISC-V chip
free
design.
and open RISC instruction set architecture.
Yes, and so many companies try to implement this RISC-V design to their new physical chips. Yes.
Yeah.
And so these new processors is very configurable of the number of cores. So today's you can try to implement a very few low spec but very efficiently chips for IoT, and it's very good at watt performance. So but the problem is the polarization. So the it's very important to we should solve the problems to the in the mutable and so and independent data each other. It's because these are very good for parallelization for these new multiple CPU and GPUs.
Absolutely.
Yes, and Zaki Sensei, his research is about this thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question? Oh, thank you for the really cool presentation. Oh, thank you, thank you. I am curious on the network performance for a nervous setup in comparison to the current state of the Earth. Network performance, okay. Network performance, nerves じゃない。NVIDIA, Jetson, AGX, ZBL, here. Unfortunately, Jetson will support gigabit is only gigabit Ethernet. So the maximum speed is 1 gigabit per second. So it may be bottleneck of performance. But I identify PCI Express port. This port can connect to other parts. So link here is Zinc Xilinx chip. This can connect more than 10 gigabit per second high-speed network. So it's just idea. PCI. This I'll be connect Jetson and Zinc with connecting PCI Express and network connect to network more than 10 gigabyte per bps per second high-speed network. It's my answer for you. It's okay?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Next question.
Yeah, thank you very much. In case there's no other question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if Chantel is still here or she's kind of having connectivity issues. Chantel, are you there?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
No. Oh, Chantel, I was looking for Chantel. Yeah. Do you have something to all right? We can't see your face. Are you there?
Okay. Okay, sorry.
So this is me with a different output. I'm sorry, I have a video, a camera problem. Thank you, Zaki, for the good presentation. It was actually
thank you.
inciting. And on that note, we have a hackathon, actually an organization called ODI. which is in this call, is having a hackathon on nerves. If anyone wants to attend, we'll have it on March. We will be giving you details on that later.
Yeah.
So thank you. We'll continue with questions after the meeting, but ElixirKenya are happy to have you and other amazing speakers we've been having throughout the webinars.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just stop recording and we'll take questions, more questions if there are any.
Thank you so much, Zaki.
Oh, thank you.